Okay, welcome to another episode of the Hanukkah Erotica Book Club. I'm Raizel, and I'm joined by my stepsister and co-host, Malya. Hi, Mal.
Hello.
Big episode. A lot of new things are happening.
We're here on a whole new level.
You may notice a difference in the quality of our voice, and that is because we're recording video. And I can't speak for you, but I'm already feeling so weird and self-conscious. So I'm like...
It's just funny because, I don't know, it's just like we record at, it's 9:47 p.m. This is like full day working mom, no makeup, pajama.
Literally. It's been scrubbed
here.
Clean. It's been scrubbed clean. I'm showered, makeup is off, in pajamas, braless, jewelry's off for the day.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are.
Right. William says Spotify insists viewership will increase. We might prove that wrong.
I actually do think we're going to prove it wrong. Viewership may increase, but I've never seen anyone look like this while recording.
This isn't the set of Talk Tua.
No. Okay. But I'm psyched and I'm excited. We have a lot to tell. We have a lot to talk about, actually.
We really do. A lot has happened.
We have a live event coming up. Last year we did our live podcast celebrating 1 year of the podcast at the Rip Bodice in Park Slope. We're now celebrating 2 years.
Crazy.
As my mom would say, I never.
I second that.
So we're going to be at the Rip Bodice live on December 12th at 7. Tickets are available online.
I wonder how the sales are going.
I already know. I mean, are you bringing a lot of the mom crew this year?
I'm trying. I've been hustling with the mom crew. People are saying they're interested. I guess I just, I have no way to know. People are like, yeah, I'm so excited to be there. But then, like, did they actually click and buy a ticket?
If they're saying I'm so excited to be there, that's a yes.
Yeah, so then I have some yeses for sure.
For sure. I think I have fewer than last year.
That makes sense.
So I'm wondering, I think the room's going to be very full. I also think we have more listeners this year.
We have more listeners. I think like the Rip Bodice is much more established in the neighborhood, has had a ton of great press. So they're probably just bringing more people in.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Totally.
So a couple things. We're reading Sarah Wendell's... What's it called?
Lit. Something.
Lighting the Flames?
Thank you. Yes, that's it.
Okay, let's rewind that on the phone.
We're really invested in that book.
I am, though.
No, but that was a great pick. For
our live event, we're reading Lighting the Flames by Sarah Wendell.
Yes.
We're going to talk a lot more about Sarah on the episode, at our live, but really excited. Last year, there was a promise of kiddish cookies and herring.
Right.
We have to discuss what we're thinking this year.
I know. Those went over so well. I mean...
Should we repeat kiddish cookies?
Kiddish cookies are timeless. I would like to kind of harken back over our specific food conversations about this year's books and see if there's anything new we need to incorporate, though.
Or the hummus from your guy.
Right. Well, we would have to talk to him about that. So, but
here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's going to be kiddish cookies.
Okay, let's commit to that. Sure.
And some wine.
Kiddish cookies, some wine, and other fun assorted tastings.
I am comfortable moving on from herring because there was like it's like a herring oil residue.
There was a fair amount of that, I admit.
I don't know.
I think the herring had its moment and we can move on. I feel, I mean, for me, herring is forever, but I'm totally for William saying he ate all the herring oil late at night at home, which is true.
I saw people really enjoying it. I saw people really enjoying it.
Real herring connoisseurs know that oil is the best part, but People loved it. I think there was a person who tasted herring for the first time. There was at least one person who tasted herring for the first time.
I remember seeing people chowing down. I can't recall who had it for the first time, unless it was my friend Shari, or she just might have already loved it. How brave to try it for the first time, though, if it was.
Listen, we're introducing people to new horizons.
I hope Shari's coming.
That would be great.
Okay, so we have our live. Tickets are available online. We're really psyched to talk about Lighting the Flames. It's a 10-year anniversary of that book. Big deal.
That's cool.
Celebrating a decade of that book. And do you know what you're going to wear?
Right. So I have a debate. I'm having an internal debate. Like part of me wants to go like, just sort of like understated, like, yeah, like this is just me at my podcast event. Like no big deal. I do this all the time, like jeans and a like cute shirt, casual. The other part of me wants to whip out like a sparkly red holiday dress.
Okay, great. Because I'm wearing a sparkly blue holiday dress, and I think if you wore a sparkly red one, it would be really good.
Oh, so maybe I should go with that.
Yes.
You already know you're committed to the sparkly blue holiday dress.
No, if you told me I think we should wear jeans, I would wear jeans again. But I think I think anything if you're hosting the event goes.
Yeah, of course.
If you said I was wearing a corset and jeans, if you said I was wearing, whatever you say is going to go.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it seems
We
fun.
don't have to decide now. That is, in my head, that is the outfit.
That's cool. What is it like what is it? Is it short? Is it short sleeves?
It's like a long sleeve blue sequiny mini dress.
Sounds great. Blue, what? Like a
light
deep blue?
Not a navy. I love navy, but it's not navy. It's like a light blue. I thought it would be festive for Hanukkah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, totally. Okay.
Some of our listeners might know I rent 6 items a month on Newly, not a sponsor of this podcast. Wish it were.
That would be great.
DM me for my referral code though, and I rent 6 things a month, and I rented it, and it already arrived, new with tags. So cool.
Oh wow. Okay, so this is going to be your first time wearing it.
Yeah, and then I'm going to send it back.
Wow.
Or
great.
I could buy it.
Should I be doing that?
Honestly, I think you should be renting.
It does seem like a good sort of, right, because I look at so many things and then I just buy nothing. It's like I'm oversaturated by the internet that just is always trying to sell me everything, and so then I just buy nothing. That's what I feel.
6 items a month. It's $98. It's not, it's still money, but it was $88, which was even cooler. $98 a month, 6 items. Almost all of it's Free People, Anthro, Urban Outfitters, and other brands that I know you like.
That's fun.
The reviews are really good. The petites are really good. And
I love a petite.
Out of the 6 things this month, 4 came with tags. It's not like they were rented a million times. They've never been worn before.
Right. There's no smelly armpits.
No. Occasionally. But they wash it. They dry clean it before they send it to you.
Sure.
I've never received anything with armpits that smelled.
Great. Well, if that's not an endorsement, I don't know what is. Okay, cool. I mean, I can commit to that red dress. That would be very cute, the two of us.
Oh, gorgeous.
Okay. Awesome. Set.
I really hope that I hope that we get to meet some new listeners that we haven't met before.
That would be really great. It'd be really fun.
Yeah, great. So fun. So that's our live. Anything else on that?
No, it was truly a highlight of my year last year. So I don't know, maybe that sets the bar too high now. I feel like I'm really excited to be back there. I also do feel like last year it felt just like whatever it is awesome. This year I feel a little bit like we have a bar that's been set that we have to meet. I don't want to feel like that. I want to just have that same just carefree whatever it is. I do feel there's a little bit of a bar setting situation, but
it was a great night. It was a great night.
So fun.
Yeah.
And
it was one of our best episodes too.
It was a really good episode. It was a great book. It all came together.
It really did. It was great. Our parents will be there.
Yes. They're committed to that.
Can't miss it. Mm-hmm.
So that will be great.
Fantastic.
Speaking of which, are we seeing each other on Sunday?
Oh wait, I think our podcast inspired what's happening on Sunday.
It absolutely did. I didn't
Brisket
realize
Palooza.
that. It was slow to set in for me. But yes, our parents were here. And then I think they were driving home and they were like, send us an episode. And I think they actually, we meant to send them the latest episode and they listened to an earlier episode. But then after
They were
that,
3 behind. They were 3 behind.
I don't think I realized that. And then after that, your mom was like, come for brisket. Like, she was referencing brisket in this way that I didn't get. And then I realized it was her doing her thing where she's just responding to the episode.
In real time.
Great.
So Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend, we're eating the brisket.
Together.
At my mom's.
That's...
And your dad's. Inspired by this podcast. Speaking of something that has a bar set high.
I know that brisket.
I bet my mom feels more pressure.
You think so? I feel like she's
for
so
brisket palooza on Sunday.
She's made that brisket so many times. I think she has it in the bag.
Okay. We'll ask. We'll discuss it on Sunday.
Well, that's a great outcome. If that was the only outcome from this podcast, Dainu to me.
Brisket on Sunday.
It's great.
Can't wait to see you.
Me too.
It's going to be great. Well, I have a lot, hopefully, happening between now and then, but our episode, our listeners don't care about that, but I'm hoping that by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Jonah's out of diapers, so we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a big deal.
We'll see. He doesn't really feel like it, so.
That's hard.
We'll see. He's peeing in school, though, all day. Sorry, listeners. All day.
He can do it.
But then at home, he's like, no. I'm just like, okay. I don't want to get into a battle about it, so okay, no. I'll drop it.
Never win those. And
in my head, I was like, I'll drop it and start again Thanksgiving, but here we are, and I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, it won't keep us home on Sunday. I know that.
Great. I'll look forward to seeing what the status is then. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that our podcast was mentioned in in an Instagram post from Hadassah magazine, which was kind of a big deal for us.
Yes. Oh my God. If you're new here, hello to all of our new followers, because we have not had an influx in new followers like that ever. But that Hadassah post really got the word out. It was about a Hadassah post about Jewish bookstagrammers, and there we were.
That was really cool.
And so many people followed us. And then Corey Ajmi, who wrote The Marriage Box, posted in a story, so excited to see, so amazing to see my book on here. Then I was like, I wonder if she listened to the episode. We didn't love that book.
Probably not too closely, I would imagine. But who knew who knew all these people were connected to Hadassah? That's not really on my radar, but I guess it should be.
Our account followed them.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, it already followed them.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Our account was following Hadassah.
Oh, cool.
Sometimes we get a follower that seems like it might be like an OnlyFans bot or OnlyFans content creator.
Sure.
Because of our name.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I get those from at Malya Levin, so.
Yes, but I think Hanukkah Erotica is flagging it even more.
That would make sense.
Because they might be doing searches.
Sure.
Anyway, they might be a little disappointed when they just see screenshots of our Zoom conversations.
Right. Our no makeup 10 p.m. PJs. It's
braless, makeup free.
It's like the anti-OnlyFans. Yeah. I don't know what that would be.
Although, no, I think that actually it would be there's a real market for it. I think that a certain kind of guy doesn't want the dressed up influencer, I think
they
a
want
certain
the
kind of
40-year-old mom in a sweatshirt.
Wants us.
Okay, well, here we are. Like I said, anyway, we'll see.
We'll
Spotify.
See. Okay, we'll see.
Generalization
Spotify told us that we're going to get more listeners with these videos, so let's see. We're here.
Totally.
Okay, anything else before we dive into the X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon?
I think we should dive in.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, so we've read Rachel Lynn Solomon before. She wrote Weather Girl.
Sure.
She's also written a bunch of YA that we have not read. I'm very curious about because I love her.
She's a very good writer.
This is my favorite kind of book. I have to put this down. I really, this is my favorite kind of romance.
Okay.
I need to parse out why.
Okay, please.
First of all, the X talk, like I told you about before, but now that we've read it, we can really describe it. Like, and I reread it for this episode, but it's like the X talk is about a fictional, it's basically like an NPR in Seattle.
Yes.
Also, I love that she's not like, there's real podcasts and real podcasters mentioned throughout.
That was nice. I like that. Yes.
It makes it feel so much more real.
And there's real like NPR hosts mentioned. Like it's set in that real world.
It's set in public radio in Seattle without making up a bunch. Like the characters are obviously fictional,
right?
But the characters reference real podcasters, NPR hosts, radio hosts. Like I love that.
Yeah, and it makes sense. It brings the whole thing to life so much more easily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now there's a lot of like work drama, like the stuff's going on with the radio station, but the podcast, like it's like, do you know how much I love Sadie on a Plate, like set in reality TV, set in Top Chef? It's like for the same reason I love this. Maybe it's like I love Top Chef, so a book about that kind of world was really enticing to me, and I like podcasts, but it's like this was so much fun.
Totally. And it really did, like it felt like she must have done a lot of research. Like it really felt like it conjured, like, oh my God, what I'm blanking on the name of that book.
I know what you're about to say.
The book about
how romantic comedy felt like SNL.
Exactly. Romantic comedy. I say I blanked on the title, everything. What's the author's name? I forgot everything.
That'll come to me in a sec.
Okay, me too, maybe. Romantic comedy, which is like, she doesn't call it SNL. She calls it like NLS or something, but it's obviously SNL, and it like really, besides just being a very sweet romance, it also like really took you behind the scenes of that world. I kind of felt like this was not quite on that level, but close to the public radio equivalent.
Curtis Sittenfeld, you're thinking about.
There you go.
I felt the same way, like the recording studio, the booth, I felt the same way, but that for me was so compelling. I loved it. Like
totally.
This is a highly readable book. I actually think I've read it like 4 times because I think I read it twice when I first read it, and then I read it twice in advance of this episode, and that's unusual for me. I really like it. It's very fun. I really recommend it. I think she's a great writer, but also it's like, we've talked about this before. Like I love the texting. I love the podcast script.
Yeah. That's like interwoven.
Like when they're on air.
Yeah. Yeah, it sticks in little pieces of it. Yeah, that's very fun.
Yes, it's really fun. Meanwhile, her characters are always very real. There is something about the way that she writes characters that feel more relatable to me than a lot of a lot of main characters in romances. Even though I actually think in the Jewish romances that we read, there is a lot of depth.
Totally. There is a lot of depth.
So it's like not like we haven't read characters that have a lot of depth. We have read tons. I love the books that we've read and the characters that we've read. There's something about the way that Raizel Lynn Solomon writes about past relationships, or in Weather Girl, I think mental health was a big part of it. In this book, our main character's name is Shay Goldstein. I love her name.
Me too. Is Shay a Jewish name?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you think? I don't think so.
No, I happen to, the only other Shay that I've ever known was Jewish. So I was just, but I never knew it as a Jewish name. But so that's just
no, I don't think it is.
Cool. I do like that.
I love the name.
Great name.
I love the way she describes her look.
Yes. The thing that I felt like what was so great and that made the character feel like she had so much depth was like the pacing is very good. Like she manages to sort of give you information, like not all, like I feel like sometimes some of the books we read that were maybe written by newer authors or whatever it is, they tend to kind of like dump information like in a like, here's what you need to know about this character, like here's the backstory of this character, and there's depth, but it isn't revealed in this way that's like, here's the conversation that tells you a little, here's a bit more, while still having a good pace and not dragging. Like I feel like she's really a master at that.
I completely agree. But also the way that she paces their dynamic, their connection, their romance. Like this is one of the sexiest books, I think.
It was that that you really were like dying for it by the time they got together. You were just like, it was such a like good slow burn of like, you knew it was going to happen, obviously, but you were just like, come on. That she was really good at that. She
but also
built
it's
that
like
up.
almost like at points of it. Meanwhile, you know, I've already read this book 3 times, but at points I'm like, wait, how is this even going to happen? They seem to hate each other. This is gonna what will the first kiss be? I don't understand.
Right.
Because here's the thing about this book. The two of them, in order to sort of like save the NPR station, create a podcast. The podcast is about exes. By the way, I like totally had the concept for this is a funny story. I'll tell you about that after.
Okay.
But I had a concept for this as a podcast. Like, I think this is a good concept for maybe there already exists at this point, but like exes hosting a podcast, like talking about the relationship, why it didn't work, like
Totally.
Okay, so their concept is to have this, but they are meant to be the exes, but the issue is they aren't exes. So they were in a fake relationship and then a fake breakup, and now they're co-hosting a podcast together under false pretenses, lying.
Right.
Which neither of them are comfortable with, but they sort of need to do this to save their jobs. Her radio show that she produced, she wasn't a podcaster before this concept. She was a behind the scenes producer of a podcast, a radio show for the station, and he was totally not this. He was like a reporter, and
right. That first, by the way, I just felt like that was kind of funny. Like I felt like the podcast that she was the producer of was sort of like the stereotypical, just like ridiculously banal public radio podcast that's like
Puget Sounds.
It's like they have a dog. The most popular segment is the dog trainer they have on every week, or like the gardening specialist, just like the most boring possible things.
Yeah, such a snooze fest.
And it's like the same host for the past 30 years, and she's like bringing her kombucha, like bringing her chia seed, just like all the stereotypical things that, of course, like a middle-aged NPR host would be.
I also laughed at the chia seeds, but even Shay was snacking on chia seeds at one point and describes how expensive they are. And I wanted to ask you, like, you know, I don't want to find plot holes in a book like this I love so much, but it's like, do you snack? Who snacks on raw chia seeds? Chia seeds? Is that a thing?
I did find that funny because she was like, I was stress eating chia seeds, which is just a funny, like, how could you of all the things to stress eat, like, how could you? It's like they're slipping through your finger. How do you even crunch it? Like a chia seed needs to be sprinkled in something else.
Exactly. It's like within yogurt.
Yeah. You can't eat a straight up chia seed.
It really was funny.
That was funny. So that description was just, that was very humorous to me.
But like very Pacific Northwest, I think.
Tother That's the other thing is like, even though I literally know nothing about Seattle, I've never been there, I just know like the basic stereotypes, I felt like she conjured the place like in a very vivid way.
Totally agree. Which, you know, I love.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really my favorite kind of romance. And I have to, like, I want to pinpoint more about what I love so much about it because I want to find more of them. Sadie on a Plate definitely scratched that itch. This is even better. Though I want to read Amanda Elliott's next Hanukkah book, I Love You a Lot, which the Rip Bodice is having an event next week, which is I think going to be great with like I Love You a Lot live event.
That's fun.
And they were even suggesting we did it for ours, but Molly and I kind of felt like two I Love You a Lot
right
events in a row seems wackadoodle.
Yeah.
But I kind of do want to read it. Like, I'm wondering if we should read that after Lighting the Flames. Because I'm curious what else I started it, but I want to read more Amanda Elliott. And it's
Sadie
her
on a
newest
Plate
Hanukkah
was
book.
great. I mean, that was so fun.
And Sadie on a Plate was so good. So I feel like it's going to be good. But yes, anyway, so they're in a fake relationship, fake breakup. And I think they're both like actually pretty anxious about that. They don't like lying. They're honest people.
Right. Also, they start out being kind of, I wouldn't say enemies, but they're like actively not friends at work. Like they're both, she is annoyed by him. He's like this young hot shot. He came in, he acts like he's too good for everyone. He's like the favorite of the station manager, and she just sees him as annoying.
Right. She also, like, from the get-go, though, like, admits that he's kind of stunning.
Oh, you know, there's a lot of talk about forearms in this book. That made me think of you with the rolling up the sleeves and the forearms.
Whew.
She
A
likes
lot
the
of forearms.
The forearms are like from the first scene. She's into his forearms.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which, that worked.
I get it.
Yeah, that worked.
That absolutely did.
What
so
was
he's
his
very
name?
attractive. He's Dominic.
Dominic, thank you.
Dominic Young.
Right.
He is younger than her, and there's a lot about that.
Right.
But
That was funny
I know,
to me.
I know that that's funny to you because she's like a lot younger than us, but she feels like an old. She like literally says, "I'm an old."
Totally. No, that was cute because I totally get it. Like when you're 29, the thought of a 24-year-old guy is like,
No, it's like it feels significant.
totally.
Mal, I remember staffing Birthright, but like I was still fresh out of college. Like how far out? Okay, so fresh out of college, I did Birthright. The next year, I did a trip called Legacy through a curative organization called JEC, and maybe the next year after that, I started staffing them, or maybe even that summer.
Okay.
I acted ancient compared to this like bus full of college kids.
Totally.
But like the age difference between Dominic and Shay was way bigger than that, and I was acting.
Well, I feel like that's
Like-
so much of reflecting on your like early 20s or mid 20s even
100%.
is like realizing with the people, also the people who you thought were like so old and adults were like 27. You know what I mean? Like
I know. Well, I think about that all the time because, okay, but I'm actually still wondering that. Like when we were on the Upper West Side, like there was a group of like older guys.
right.
Seth, Isaac, Hindi married Seth. He seemed older. How old were they?
You know what? I actually recently, I was thinking about this too because recently,
Yitzy.
yeah, there was an article about the Bang It Out parties that was really sweet actually about like how long they've been going on and like, it kind of
30
was like
years.
I think that might be true. Not 30, but like it's
At least 20.
At least 20. But it was kind of like the article was sort of like post October 7th, how like this is more important than ever. It was very sweet. And they interviewed the Galenas and it said their age. And I was like, oh, that's how old they are. But now I don't remember what it was.
Okay. But I interrupted myself earlier to say that I had a funny story about my concept for an ex podcast.
Okay.
Which is that once while pregnant, I ran into an ex walking on the street, like across town, like from the east side to the west side, like straight across on 14th Street.
Right.
We like walked like from, I don't know how far east, like all the way to like maybe 5th or 6th Avenue. Like I was walking towards home and we were like walking like, a bunch of avenues together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's funny I'm running into you because I had this concept for a podcast. Meanwhile, like I wasn't like when I propositioned you for a podcast, it was like very sincere.
Sure.
But, like through the years, like I had other ideas for a podcast, but I wasn't like an actual proposition. He was like, I'll do it.
Oh my God. That's really funny. And then when you're like, I mean.
No, I was like, I'm actually like married and like, as you can see, I'm like very pregnant.
Right.
So like, this isn't, no.
That's really
But
funny.
that was funny.
That's
I
cute.
know.
Wow, he was really up
Yeah.
for it. And it is a good
Yeah.
idea. It's a really good idea. I mean, if the
It
chemistry's
is.
right, it could also be a bust, but it could be fun.
Well, there's also so many directions. Like in the X Talk, it was about this one couple was at the center, but like
Right.
the other idea is like your host, like a podcast host is interviewing, each episode is different couples that broke up and you get to hear both perspectives. Like that was mine. Like
Right.
it wasn't really just going to be me and a parade of my exes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, but like, interviewing a couple that
Yeah,
broke
yeah.
up, like
Each
hearing
time
the
a new one,
perspectives.
right.
Like, but like each time a new one, like the perspective of each person, like what was good about it, why it didn't work. Life since the relationship. I just think it's great. Very
Yeah, it is
compelling.
fun. Totally. It's kind of like, did you ever listen to that podcast with Esther Perel where she does the couples therapy in each episode?
No, it sounds great.
You know Esther Perel, she's like that
Yeah, I
famous
know her.
really. Well, so she
Yeah,
has a
I know her.
podcast
Yeah.
where should we begin? Where it's like each episode is just like a one-time couples therapy session with a different couple. So it's kind of like that, but it's not a couple anymore. But it's like
Right.
unpacking what happened, I guess,
Right.
and
Love
whatever.
that. Love
yeah,
that.
that's a great idea. That
Such-
must
such
exist.
good
Does that
stuff
not
out there.
exist?
I'm sure it does. But the thing is, it doesn't matter because it's like what your father told me about books.
Right.
And so
Right.
if it exists, it means that there's
A market for it.
It has legs and there's a market for it.
Totally. That's good
You know?
advice. Mm-hmm.
But that was really, really funny. Anyway,
was
but
fun.
this podcast is really good.
Yeah, it
Is
takes
X
off
Talk?
right away.
it takes off right away, and their chemistry is really good.
Yes.
And listeners love it. But even like reading the tweets or like the Instagram comments about it, like this is the stuff I love to read.
Right. And
So
that,
it's like,
she did that that was very fun, how she integrated all that stuff.
exactly. Like, so there's like tweets about it, and they're adding them, and the Instagram posts. And I even like that there's like a joke about like at one point she's losing her mind and like starts Facebook stalking him at night, and he hasn't posted in years, which like,
Yes.
or at least in months. Like, but like, and she like maybe his profile was public. She accidentally liked something.
Yes.
Like, it's like they acknowledge the late night stalking. She's so embarrassed. I love
That was
all
very
of
funny.
that.
Yes, that was really good.
And like, and even there's a scene where later in the book where she meets his family, and this is so relatable for me. But his mom is like, you know, he had a conversation with me because I was always the first one to comment on his photos, and he asked me not to do that. Like,
So funny.
I love that. So all of that is really, really fun. But their chemistry is great from the get-go. But the station manager, their boss, feels like it's a kind of obvious that you don't know each other, but probably because the station manager's in on the secret.
Right.
And is like, I booked you an Airbnb, and you have to go away together for the weekend.
Right. And just like really learn everything so you can more realistically act like exes.
Yeah, but like,
Which, I mean, that's a little
it's like literally illegal.
And also just like kind of ridiculous. Like, how is that? Like, you're going to go away to a weekend for an Airbnb and come back like real exes? Like, is that how relationships work? Like, is that how
I'm going to spend two nights in an Airbnb and know everything. But anyway, it happens.
Yes.
And she just like, they really start to get to know each other. Because like, this is like two different tropes. It's like enemies to lovers, but also like this fake relationship is a trope.
Right.
So it's like enemies to lovers and fake relationship.
Right.
I am here for it. I love it.
Yeah, it's very fun.
But then,
and I guess
that
it's
weekend
also
is sort of the
with
turning point.
With the background of like, I know this isn't quite like new adult because they're a little older than
she's
that.
an old.
She's an old, but it does feel like it's the genre of like, okay, I'm not quite a new adult anymore, but I still like, I'm figuring things out, and I feel like, am I meeting the milestones I should be? Like, am I where I need to be? And that like,
Yeah.
that felt very much like of a certain moment in life.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like just so well written, and you can feel it.
Yes.
And like also like workplace romance. So there's like a lot of things there.
Yeah.
But anyway, this weekend on an island off the Pacific Northwest that I
island
haven't heard
sounded
of.
great, by the way.
Yeah, that island sounded awesome. And like they have like a little bit of like a bitter banter, like because like they had initially she didn't like him so much.
Right.
So like they have that continues.
Yeah, like a little bit of like mocking, I guess.
Yeah. Which that doesn't do it for me.
Right.
But like you could really feel their dynamic.
Well, I think what that does add to the like because you're really in her head the whole time, and she's very confused, like because she feels like sometimes he is really like flirting with her and being genuine and complimenting her, but then he'll also slip back into that kind of mocking banter, and then she doesn't know sort of where she stands. I like that because I do feel like that
For sure.
that happens a lot when you're sort of like dancing around like something new.
For sure. So then, you know, whatever, the layers break down. Their chemistry is so like hot.
Yeah. Right. Well, she sort of slowly has to acknowledge to herself that she's just like really turned on by him.
Right. Also, her perception of him shifts because she sees him as a hotshot. Then she finds out he's only been in one relationship.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Physical or otherwise. Like, so it's like a whole mental shift.
Right.
She's had several.
Yes.
But then, like, I like her relationship history. Like, she's insecure. She's insecure also with her feelings towards him or his feelings towards her as the relationship progresses. Because, like, in the past, she's been the one to say, I love you first. Like, in the past, she's wanted it more. In the past, she hasn't. He's like, did you really love all those people? And then she's like, did I love all those people? Or was I just trying to make something work? Or was I trying, like, I like her and the way that she thinks and the way she expresses her. It just felt so different than just like your regular rom-com.
Totally.
Depthy.
Yeah, I agree.
While being funny,
But
and
also
kind
still
of
light, like not
exactly,
too, yeah,
but not too heavy.
yeah.
Like light and fun. I just loved it. And then yeah, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it was pretty light. I know this is a bit of a pivot. Well, we can get to that. We know. Let's finish talking about the island because I wanted to say it was pretty light on the Jewish content, but that's going on a different angle.
Right. No, I'm happy to go there. It's like, was there anything Jewish other than Jewish representation? Like, I do think that every book she's written has Jewish representation. So she always like falls under the category when a new Jewish romance comes out. Like she's,
sure,
kind of, it's advertised that her book's out under the guise of Jewish romance. And I do think that Jewish representation makes it a Jewish, I think there was a little, but it was lighter than Weather Girl.
It was definitely lighter than Weather Girl. There was a little bit of like, there was a Passover Seder that her mom at her mom's house that she was at, and there was like talking about lighting a menorah. Like there was like her parents' wedding, and there was breaking a glass. Oh, her mom was talking about how like they basically eloped because like she came from a more traditional Jewish family and he didn't, and there was too much disagreement about how the wedding would look, so they just like eloped and did their own thing. So there was some interspersed, but like it just. I guess like what I want. So he's Korean, Dominic.
Yeah.
And there's a few times where he talks about his Korean heritage. And I wanted her to like share something about her Jewish heritage in response, but she never does.
Right.
Like there's even like a point where, there's like
well, she also has Korean food for the first time with him.
Yeah, but even then when she has Korean food, he's like, oh, like you could order this. Like this is usually the thing that the white people like. And she was like, oh, like I can order the white people thing. That's fine. Which, fine, she was the white person and she was ordering that. But like, I felt like she could have also like, said like, I'm not only white, I'm also, this is who I am. And she never sort of came back with that.
Yes.
So that I wanted more there.
Yeah. I agree. I think that would have been great.
Yeah.
Especially because they were doing all this getting to know you.
Right.
I had the same feeling, like it would be impossible for me to get to know him without that being a part of the conversation.
Right. Right. And it felt like she had enough Jewish, like there was enough Jewish stuff mentioned that should have come up, but it really didn't.
Right.
So.
Right. She wasn't like the guy from Texas in the Hayat T. Glazer book who was like, I found out I'm Jewish. But what?
No. Not like that guy.
No one's that guy.
No, I think we concluded that guy like doesn't exist. Except in the minds of like from fantasizers.
Right. I'm interested in this idea about just like Jewish representation because there is an author we haven't read who also writes rom-coms that are good and her name's Alyssa Sussman.
Okay.
And I've liked her books. The main character in them are always Jewish, but it's like, it feels like that's really it. Like there isn't really the Passover Seder or like the talk of the Jewish wedding. Like it feels so I sort of like haven't recommended. I don't know. I'm just curious. Like if we ever feel like weaving another one in because, we like to kind of
mix it up.
We should check out Alyssa Sussman. Falls into kind of this category.
But wait, should we go back to the
island? So they're on the island.
Yeah, they're on the island, right?
Yeah. There's like there's just like a few things that happen on the island that like make her really, that endear him to her. I think he's kind of falling for her the whole time also, but it's like she has a new rescue dog that she got. He's like very loving and caring towards the dog. Like a lot of readers can really relate to that.
Sure.
I remember when Mitch trained Binny, not Binny, sorry, that's my kid. When Mitch trained Minnie, my dog, out of the bed, he like took a comforter and put it down next to his bed, like fake fake sleeping on the floor to like train Minnie that it's okay to sleep here.
Cute.
And I was like, really what he was taking his time in doing was like to get the dog the hell out of our bed.
Sure.
But also like, that's like, there's something very beautiful. And I think that the way that he was acting with her dog for sure is something that a lot of readers like would also start falling for Dominic from.
Totally. Also feels very Pacific Northwest, like that you have a rescue dog and this is
a rescue dog that you're bringing to the Airbnb.
Totally. You can't leave him home.
No questions asked.
Yeah, obviously.
No. But yeah, they like just, I don't know, they like really get to know each other in a different way. Like it kind of the trip kind of works.
Oh my God. But he's like the perfect guy, basically. Like he's a great listener. He's like asks questions. He's, he's right. He loves the dog. He can cook. Like he's kind of perfect.
I know. I was laughing about that at one point because I was like, it is hilarious though that like romances are like written for women like as fantasies, and it's just like funny when it's like, it's like the like cool Seattle Northwest graduate,
totally.
Like, binges nerdy podcast.
Right.
Like,
but he's also just like willing to sit up till 2 a.m. listening to you talk about like your feelings about your parents. And then also like, when you're like, oh, I'm really tired, maybe you want to leave. He's like, no, I don't care if we don't have sex. I just want to stay and be with you all night. You know what I mean? It's just like.
But also like effortlessly cool.
Right.
Effortlessly cool with just like sexy forearms.
Right.
And like no complicated relationship history because he specifically only has one ex and is like she thought he had this big player history, but really he has none of that.
Right. And he just wants, totally.
It's like the Gollum in
Yes, he's the Gollum.
Magical Meet
like
Cute.
he's actually a Gollum. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yes. But it worked
he was great.
It worked for me.
Absolutely. But Shea Goldstein was also great. Like I pictured her as like a Zoe Deschanel type.
Totally.
Like
the bangs.
Cute bangs. Like really cute clothes.
Glasses.
He like comments like, I like how you dress. I'm like, of course you like how she dresses.
Right.
Shea Goldstein's cool.
Right. No. She's a producer like at public radio in Seattle. She owns a house. She's like 29.
Yeah. Of course he likes her.
Right.
Who we all do.
Of course.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's the best.
She's Jewish Zoe Deschanel.
Right. And the fact that she's like, oh, like not so self-assured just makes her even cuter.
Right. Yeah. I loved it. Anyway, but the thing is like they have this big lie and now they're like lying to their friends. Oh, I also liked her relationship with her best friend in the book.
Yeah, me too. That was
like a big part of the book was their relationship, but also felt very real.
Totally. And
they
same
were honest
thing,
with
which
each
is
other.
like
They were supportive.
Yeah, they had conflict. Their lives are moving in different directions. How will their friendship stay what it is, which is like also very relatable for that time of life.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I really just loved it so much. Rachel and Solomon, if you're listening, you're a great writer. We love your books. Weather Girl was so good too.
It was really good.
It's like these books I just like are so readable. I recommend them to all of our listeners. I really, really, I want to read everything that she's written.
It's funny because I listened to this mostly on Audible, and my feelings about sex scenes on Audible, but it was like when we got to that scene on the island when they finally had sex, I was like, oh, I really want to read this, but like I really cannot listen to it.
So did you skip ahead? What'd you do?
I skimmed. I skimmed. I got the gist because I wanted to read it. You know what I mean? Like I was into them and their chemistry. Like I wanted to read it, but I really just like the audio. And she was good. Whoever read that book, the narrator was great.
Fantastic.
But it's just like it's a bit much for me.
Too much for you. Well, it's very interesting because there's actually like a whole market out there specifically geared towards women, not men, of like audio erotica, which is not for you.
No.
No. There's like multiple apps for it. Like it's like audio erotica. It's like as if it's the way that like they would to get the job done the way that porn does, but specifically for listening. Because like I think women are generally like less visual, like it like works for them in a different way.
Yeah.
Which makes sense with like the romance industry, the audiobook industry, podcasts. I get it.
Totally.
Yeah. But not for you. If you're skipping through it. But no, the narrator was amazing.
She was really good. I really liked her.
It's a great audiobook. Both reading and listening are a great experience. As someone who's read and listened 4 times. Can't believe it. But no, so like this lie really weighs heavily on them. Like, you know, they don't exactly know what to do. Like they're trying to like, because now they're in a relationship, but like they're pretending like they're in a fake relationship.
Right.
It all blows up,
Yes.
obviously.
Right.
Did it end abruptly for you? I was like, what's happening? Like it blows up, it gets resolved.
It did feel like a lot of action at the end after like a lot of just sort of slow build.
Right. But like TLDR, it all works out. It's a happily ever after.
Oh yes.
And also like they are so attracted to each other and they have such good chemistry. And so it's like those scenes are very good.
Yeah,
Even though Malya doesn't know, she didn't listen to them fully, I could tell you, excellent.
You recommend? No, from what I got the flavor. That was good, and because, like you said, because she built it up, it worked in a way that it might not have otherwise. But
yeah, this book has it all.
But I did feel like they were. The thing is, sometimes I feel like, or we've discussed how in books where we're like, there's no conflict in their relationship, in this relationship, and that kind of falls a little flat. For me, there really wasn't any conflict in their relationship in this book either. It was the conflict was external around like the fact that it had the lie and all that.
Right.
But they were so cute, I didn't even care. I guess maybe the external conflict was compelling enough that made up for it.
I guess Sadie on a Plate was similar, and that the conflict was that like he was the judge on Top Chef.
Right.
But like they actually just got along, and like he was just super hot. And he liked her and she liked him. But the conflict was that he was a judge. And the conflict here is that they were in a fake relationship.
Right.
And she tried to make age the conflict.
Right. For a second, but that disappears pretty quickly.
No, you're right. They were really cute.
Yeah.
Cute, hot, great chemistry. For me, this book has it all. Because it was like funny and poignant and sweet. I do agree with you that I think that in those conversations about culture, identity, family, getting to know you, it would have been great to hear her own Jewish identity come out.
Yes.
Rather than it just be referenced, I was at this Seder or here or there for us as readers.
Yes. Agreed.
Totally.
But really fun. I totally agree with you. I enjoyed every minute.
It's so I can't wait to read more from her. I think I told you this on many, many episodes ago, but she moved to Amsterdam.
Oh.
So she lived obviously in Seattle. That's why both of them take place in Seattle. Probably the others do also. But then now she's like an expat living in Amsterdam.
Huh.
And she's so cute, by the way. She like looks like what you'd picture Shea Goldstein to look like.
Cool. Wonder if she has any
Rachel
books
and
set in
Solomon.
Amsterdam now.
I know. I think maybe something is coming out. I'm very curious.
Cool.
But she's great. We're lucky. I really think that we are lucky to have an author like her writing books from this Jewish perspective that are so good. I love her.
Totally. Very fun.
The parents of Jonah's class, we had a night out with the parents of Jonah's school. Mm-hmm. And some of the parents of Jonah's class, they were like, we just found out you do a podcast. Tell us more. And I was telling them all about it. And they were, oh, what happens in Amsterdam? A book of hers coming out. I just was like, let me look it up. Okay. I'll tell you about that in a sec.
Okay.
So I was telling them about the podcast. I was telling them about the live. And they were like, can you recommend, separate from the podcast, like, can you actually recommend books that you think we should read, like books that we'd really like?
Right.
I was like, absolutely, you should read this one.
Totally.
And some others I recommended. Okay. Rachel Lynn Solomon's next book is called What Happens in Amsterdam. And it comes out May 6th.
Okay.
2025. Do you want to hear the description?
Sure.
Let's see if it's Jewish at all.
Okay.
Falling in love with your husband is anything but convenient in this steamy romance from the New York Times bestselling author of Business or Pleasure. Oh, I read that one too. Danny Dorfman, okay, another great Jewish name, there you go,
Amazing.
has somehow made it to her 30s without knowing what she wants to do with her life. So when an office romance ends poorly and gets her fired, she applies for a job in Amsterdam, idly dreaming of escaping the mess she's created, but never imagining she'll actually get it. Except she does. By the end of her first week in Amsterdam, she's never felt more adrift or alone. Then she crashes her bike into her high school ex-boyfriend, and suddenly life is blooming with new opportunities. Wouter van Leeuwen was a Dutch exchange student
Stop.
Danny's family hosted. A forbidden love that ended in a painful breakup. Years later, there's still sizzling chemistry between them, and okay, maybe a little animosity. More importantly, Wouter needs to be married to inherit a gorgeous family home on a canal. And when Danny's job falls apart, she needs a visa. As the marriage of convenience pushes them together in unexpected ways, Danny must decide whether her new life is yet another mistake or if it's worth taking a risk on a second chance. It comes out May 6th. It's called What Happens in Amsterdam. The cover reveal is like the cutest thing you've ever seen. It's hard to see it with this lighting, but it's really cute.
Oh, I see.
And we got to read it.
That sounds pretty good. Wouter
van Leeuwen.
Wow. Okay. I'm up for it. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Yeah. It's really going to be good, I could tell, because she has a lot of comments and emojis, and it says, for now, be sure to mark your calendars. Tulips officially become horny on May 6, 2025.
That's funny.
That's going to be good.
I like it.
Okay, she moved to Amsterdam, got inspired, and wrote.
Fabulous. Love it.
I love her.
She seems awesome. Wonder why she moved to Amsterdam. Cute. Yeah, exactly what
Isn't
you would
she
imagine.
cute? You see?
That's
exactly
totally
like
Shea Goldstein.
A bold lip.
Love it. The
red bangs.
side sweep. Yeah, totally.
Side swept bangs.
Mm-hmm. So cute.
Cute glasses. Yeah. I did read Business or Pleasure. I wonder what that was about because I don't remember it, but I did read it. Okay, this was great. I love talking to you about this book. I recommend it wholeheartedly.
Same. Absolutely.
Okay, for our next episode is our live.
It sure is.
And then big announcement following that, Gene Meltzer of rom-com fame, of rom-com royalty.
Oh, yes.
Is coming on.
Right? We've discussed two
Gene
of her
Meltzer
books
wrote
on
Magical
here.
Meet Cute.
Mm-hmm.
We read Magical Meet Cute. We didn't read the Matzo Ball.
No. Didn't she write the book about the babka? Yeah.
The babka one, yeah.
What's that called?
That
one was
Mr.
good.
Perfect on Paper? No, that was another one of hers. Hold on, gotta find that out.
Best Brooklyn. No, that was the name of the bakery.
That was the name of the boxes place.
I liked that book.
I loved that book. Anyway, she is coming up on our podcast following, let's see what she wrote, following our live, and I can't wait.
Awesome. Magical
Meet Cute, and what was that book called? I don't know.
Oh gosh.
But we did it, and I really want to know. But even though I'm sure at this point we've already lost.
Kissing Kosher.
Kissing Kosher. Thank you. So we can't wait to talk to Jean live on the pod.
That's gonna be really fun.
Yeah. So if you're reading along with us for our live at the Rip Bodice, it's Lighting the Flames by Sarah Wendell, which has it all because it's a summer camp romance, but it's a set in Hanukkah summer camp romance because they're like back for winter.
That's very cute.
So it's like, it really has it all. And Sarah Wendell is like in a lot of ways one of the reasons that we're here. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk more about that on our next episode, which will be our live.
Come out and see us.
Come see us live. And we can't wait.
It's going to be awesome.
December 12th at the Rip Bodice. Tickets available at the Rip Bodice's website.
Yes.
Amazing. If we're ready.
I think we're ready.
Then follow us on Instagram. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. This podcast is produced by William Levin, and it is brought to you by Hanukkah Pong. If you are looking for a Hanukkah gift for a party, it is menorah-shaped beer pong available at newesttraditions.com. Enter code Hanukkah Erotica for 20% off. HANUKKAHEROITCA.
Tica.
TICA.
People know how to spell.
Hanukkah erotica.
Right.
I definitely spelled it wrong the first time, but this was a blast. Can't wait to see you for Brisket Palooza on Sunday. Maybe we'll have some more content.
That would be great.
Oh, you know what we should do? We should record with our parents on Sunday a little and have a little snippet on the
Oh,
pod.
that's a cute idea. Okay, let's try to do that. There's going to be a lot of like loud kids in the background. So
Right, the kids,
I
the
anticipate
kids.
that not being so pleasant, but we'll see.
We can invite them on one. We can invite them on one day. They do Zoom a lot.
That's true. I mean, okay. Yeah,
Not with me. Okay, no. We're not sure.
let's think about it.
But we do know we're eating brisket with them on Sunday.
Yes. I'm excited for
Okay,
that.
happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
See you soon. Good night.
Bye.